And joining us now, it is time for our June Progressive Agriculture Foundation Safety Update. Jana Davidson with the Progressive Agriculture Foundation is here with us. Jana, great to catch up with you again. How are you?
I'm doing great, Jesse. Great to catch up with you too.
Well, I appreciate the time. It is a busy time. We were chatting before we went on the air just how, summer just seems to be flying by with all the events and outdoor activities and everything like that. And it's also a perfect time for folks, to get outside, enjoy a little bit. And one of the things that they have to watch out for is ticks. And I know I've found some ticks on me here even recently being outside, just mowing the grass, or found them on our pets. So that's our focus here today. And I know you have a column up this month just talking about the truth about ticks. And it's definitely something that we have to really keep an eye on, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think with the nicer weather, and you're right, we're all outside, we're doing fun things. I think the past 2 years in 2020, 2021, maybe we weren't doing as much as we once were, but now we're outside. And whether we're, like you mentioned, mowing our yard, doing our farm chores, or actually going on hikes or other fun adventures, bugs, unfortunately, they seem to follow us. And sometimes it's just that they're pesky. Sometimes we do get a bite. I know they say there's some folks that just attract them. I know my mother, like the mosquitoes love her, but usually, hopefully you just end up with a bite that's you're not going to have to worry about. It might irritate you for a few days, but unfortunately with ticks, it can be a whole different story. And a tick bite can actually lead to Lyme disease, which is, I believe, the CDC now says that Lyme disease is the most common vector-borne disease here in the United States. So it is serious. That's why it's important to be preventative, and take measures of checking ourselves for ticks, so we maybe can prevent this before it happens.
Well, Jana, I know it's important to, if you find a tick, to get it removed as soon as possible. The sooner you get it removed, that minimizes the chances of the tick transferring an infection to you, and whether it be you as an adult or to our children as well.
Completely agree. They said there's like a 36 to 48-hour window. If that tick remains on you, that's really the danger zone where that infection can occur. So I do have some tips today just to share with folks about being proactive, thinking about this before we leave the house, and when we return home, what we need to look for. So, and this includes not just ourselves, but our pets as well, because if we have pets in the home, ticks love pets as well. So it's really, really important that we check everyone in our household. So if you're going to be leaving the house, you're going to be walking, especially in any grassy, brushy, or even wooded areas. It's just make it a habit. And this also includes if you're camping, if you're gardening, things like that. You are really going to probably be in close contact with ticks. So they can be right in our backyard. Sometimes we go a little bit further to find them, but they will find us. So before we leave the house, just making it that plan that when we return, we are going to check for ticks, our families, and again, our pets. There's also ways that, if you are an active hiker or someone, even our hunters that are out there, there are methods you can use where you can actually have protective clothing and gear. So you can use EPA approved insect repellent that sometimes will keep the ticks from bothering you. So that's always nice if you could try to pre-treat before you leave. Again, we've mentioned this already, just examining yourself when you come home. And where you want to check are places like underneath your arms, in and around your ears. Again, a place we don't often think of, but they like to find places where they might be invisible to us. Inside the belly button, on the back of your knees, in and around your hairline, and then also between the legs and around the waist. So there's a lot of places. It's not just like, look real quick. Okay, I'm done. I'm good. You really need to do some digging. Ticks seem to find a way to get in there and hide. And I think that's the most common thing. People don't know that they were bit by a tick, or that sometimes they don't see those bullseyes or the normal rashes that occur because it might be in an area that we just don't look at or don't notice. So it's not until those symptoms start where you start feeling bad that you start to think back, maybe there's something bigger that went on here. So if you do locate a tick, so we found a tick, now what? It's really important that we remove it quickly and safely. So we want to use things like clean, fine-tipped tweezers to kind of grasp the tick and remove them from the skin as soon as possible. There are some devices out there now too that are specific for ticks. I knew there were ones growing up for my pet, and now I've been seeing at safety days where they're teaching this topic and they're actually sending the children home with these devices to give to the parents so they can remove them when they're out camping or whatnot, and they have exposure. So you want to pull upward steady with even pressure. Make sure you don't twist or jerk the tick because this could actually cause the tick's mouth parts to break off and remain in the skin, which again can still cause some damage and cause that infection to occur. So if that would happen, you want to remove the mouth parts again with tweezers. Just make sure you got it all. And then if you can't remove that mouth easily with tweezers, leave it alone and let the skin heal. And then after removing the tick, thoroughly clean the bite area, wash your hands, use rubbing alcohol and soap. And the biggest thing that they say is never crush a tick with your fingers. Dispose of it properly. Some folks like to actually keep it in a baggie, a sealed baggie with some alcohol. That way, if something does happen later on and you start to have symptoms, you actually have the tick still with you. You could actually take it to the doctor. Or sometimes people like to flush it down the toilet, things like that. But just discard it and just don't try to crush it with your fingers, throw it away, think it's done, because they're pretty tough, so they can come back. So those are some of the important things that I want folks to remember as they are out enjoying this beautiful, very warm weather that we're having. But we want to make sure we do it safely, and we want you to have a good summer and not be worried, not be laid up because you're sick and just not feeling yourself because you contracted Lyme disease.
Well, Jana, fantastic insight into getting rid of ticks on our body. And you mentioned it's a topic, one of many topics that are taught at safety days. And of course, signups for safety days ongoing. There are lots of safety days going on across the country here during the summer and into the fall. And I know folks can learn more very easily on the Progressive Agriculture Foundation website, can't they?
They sure can. So visit us at www.progressiveag.org. There you'll have an opportunity to click on our current safety days button. You'll see all the safety days that are planned for the rest of the year. Keep going back because we do have a lot that we're adding. Frequently we'll have a lot happening the later part of summer, beginning of fall. And then if somebody is listening in and they think, wow, we want to bring this to our community. We're not seeing a safety day in our area. How do we go about doing so? We have a Get Involved tab. If you click on that, complete an interest form. Let us know what you're thinking about, what kind of safety day. We have 3 different delivery modes: a community-based, a school-based, and a classroom, where you can actually deliver it right in the classroom during the academic year, which is brand new for us. So once we have a little bit more of an idea of what you're wanting, we'll follow up and get you started.
Well, we appreciate the time as always. With that, Jana Davidson with the Progressive Agriculture Foundation. Thanks for our June safety message, and we'll talk to you again next month.
Thanks for having me.
Again, you can learn more at progressiveag.org.